Good evening, YouTube. This is Tire Metalhead Weatherman. I hope you guys have had a good start to the work week. It was a fun weekend. It was a fun holiday weekend for us. I hope it was a fun holiday weekend for all of you guys as well. So, without further, I'm not really going to waste too much time here. We're doing a long range forecast, and without further ado, let's get right into it. We've been talking about the severe weather threat today. We have severe thunderstorm watches in effect right now for Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas right now. We do have some ongoing severe thunderstorm and flash flood warnings. I believe earlier I did see one tornado warning. We're going to take a quick look and see if that's still there. It is not, thankfully. Take a quick look at the reports as well. And it looks like we had 2 waterspout reports in Florida today. That's interesting. But we talked about today and tomorrow's severe weather threat. We're mainly going to highlight Thursday because nothing has really changed. But Thursday's threat, we have a slight risk for the mid-Atlantic region and a marginal risk that stretches from Austin all the way towards the mid-Atlantic. But the area of greatest emphasis seems to be Philadelphia, just to the south of Philadelphia. And we're including Baltimore and Washington, D.C. and Richmond in this. Most of northern Virginia, northern and northern central Virginia as well. Hazard type is most likely going to be damaging wind and hail. Can't rule out a tornado. You never really can, but I'd say the chance looks pretty low. So without further ado, let's go on to the height anomaly map here. We're trying to get a good look at what could be going on in the next couple of weeks here. Clearly right now you can see our storm system over here that's just now crossed into the Canadian border, just crossed over the Canadian border here. And you can see this little storm system with cool air right behind it popping up here. Also keep an eye around here because this is where we're going to see Agatha exit Mexico and head into the Gulf and eventually become Alex. Let's get a look. Let's roll on here. We can see this storm system really starting to mature over Canada. We have a little bit of a cool down that takes shape around the northern plains and around the northern tier of the Midwest. Still a little bit of lingering energy left over, which could cause some severe weather. It could cause a few thunderstorms, maybe a couple of severe storms. Nothing incredible. But then this also brings a pretty big cool down towards the central part of the country all the way to the East Coast, which would be pretty nice. And then everybody's kind of starting to level out a little bit. Everybody's kind of hanging either below average or just above it, or just barely above it, which would be nice. And then over here, if you look closely, I think you can start to see Agatha, what's now left of Agatha coming in, and it actually matures a bit and goes into southern Florida. We'll have to keep a close eye on that. So we get a little piece of energy that pops up here around the northeast towards the end of the week, and this could bring in a cool down as well as potential weather disturbances, maybe some storms. Then lo and behold, unfortunately for the southwest, we get a ridge that's starting to redevelop here and around the northeast as well. But towards the middle here, we have a pretty big storm system. It might cause a little bit more severe weather on the northern plains. Our ridge starts to take over on the western half of the country. Meanwhile, towards the eastern half, things are going to probably start to cool down around the 8th. We have a pretty big storm system that heads into the Ohio Valley and Northeast. We'll have to watch that for any sort of severe weather. And we'll move this off by about the 10th and into the 11th. And this cold air continues to linger. And then here's a storm system that I'm really interested in, because this did what's called a trough ejection. You see, I'll go back a couple frames so you can see it a little bit more clearly. But you saw how this was lingering right here, right? Watch what happens as I move this further and further forward. This pops up and it just kicks that thing right on out. This could be a pretty big storm system here on the 13th. I'll be watching this extremely close because this could be a nasty severe weather maker. And also may have some snow on the backside of this for the Four Corners region again. And in the meanwhile, we are getting more and more warm air building up around the western half of the country. And getting my computer to freeze up as well. Come on. Come on. Uh-oh. There we go. Come on. Work with me here. Oh, jeez. You gotta love technology sometimes. Just give it a moment. There we go. There's one thing I've been having a little bit of bad luck with lately is with this GFS here. Sometimes it just won't work for me. It's moving slowly, but it is working. Our ridge is redeveloped around the southwest, but it is moving off to the east. We have another storm system developing here. Might bring more snow for Montana and Idaho. And this ridge is now starting to work its way into the southeast by the 14th. Oh boy, it's doing it again. Almost to the end of the model run here. About 342 hours out. So a lot of this can still change. Now 348. Oh boy. Get to about 360 hours out. About the 15th towards the middle of the month. East is looking really warm. Northwest in particular is colder than average. Plenty of storm systems to go with that. Dang, man, this thing just does not want to work with me here at all, does it? All right, 372 hours out, and then we have a really interesting look here. Sitting at 7 minutes just because of that. We have a really interesting look that takes shape here towards the Gulf again, and this is kind of like straddling the coast of Mexico, and it's going to work its way into Texas. Might cause a lot of really heavy rain towards the middle of the month. I have to watch that real close. We get a really strong southeast ridge at the end of this model run here on the 16th for the southeast. Some very warm temperatures look like they could be heading our way towards mid-month. So brace yourselves. So that's the end of this model here. I'm going to close this out. Hopefully we find a way to keep the ball rolling here. I'm sure plenty of you are saying, but Ty, I'm not used to seeing the height anomaly. I don't know what that is. Just show me where it's going to rain and where it's not. Don't worry. I got you. Just give this a second because it looks like it's updating. Hopefully it will do so without causing me too much grief. And it looks like it will, thankfully. Move this along here. Here's our severe weather for tonight. Moving its way off to the east. Here's our really ridiculously strong system that's in Canada. On the southern end of it, you might get a little bit of energy forming off of it. Maybe mostly in the part of rain. And then Thursday, here's our low pressure systems here, sparking some severe weather around the mid-Atlantic. Then on Friday, we will be watching towards the panhandle of Texas for more potential severe weather. Doesn't look super organized, but it's still pretty far out. Things can change. Here's our remnants of Agatha. Most likely this will become Tropical Storm Alex, our first named storm in the Atlantic Basin. And then this will quickly move through southern Florida, around the Keys, maybe around Miami as well, but quickly go out to sea from the looks of it. In the meanwhile, on the 5th, this Sunday, we look like we have more storms trying to pop up around Illinois, Wisconsin, and Michigan. We'll have to watch that. And then Monday morning and into Monday afternoon. We'll have to watch Indiana and Ohio for some severe weather possibly. And we get this little messy looking MCS here that tries to work its way through the southeast on Tuesday evening, causing a little bit of trouble, a little bit of rain. Then Wednesday we get another little system that pops up, causing more rain for the southeast. Things get pretty active later in the Wednesday night. We get some storms trying to form up around the mid-Atlantic here, maybe sparking off some severe weather towards the end of its life cycle. And then on the 9th, late next week, this is when our first really big players comes back into the fray here, and we're gonna have to watch that one super close for any severe weather here. On the 10th, this low comes in, brings in a little line of storms, not super impressive. But the 13th is the date that I'm extremely interested in. Look at this curvature right here that's associated with this upper level low. This upper level low, that mind you, is sitting at 987 millibars. It's a pretty low pressure. Pretty considerable low pressure system here. So this is almost 2 weeks out. It's pretty far out, but this could turn into a big problem for the Midwest, particularly around Illinois, Missouri, maybe even Oklahoma and Arkansas, but we'll have to watch this as this goes towards the Ohio Valley late into the week and the Great Lakes region. This could trigger a line of storms that even works its way into the southeast. Then our next system comes in right behind it, causing more trouble for the northern plains and the Midwest. Uh-oh. Now this one's starting to freeze up on me. And there we go. We're back in here. We'll have to watch the Midwest again on the 16th. And we're at the end of our model run at this point. Plenty of stuff still going on from the looks of it. We'll have to watch and see how much of this holds true in the longer run. But let's move on to the next thing, which is Agatha, or what is now left of it. So we're going to take a look at the Atlantic first. And now we have this bullseye right here. And this is now within our 2-day outlook, which is really interesting. We now have a 40% chance of cyclone development within 48 hours. So this is a big development here. Confidence has been increasing a lot over the last few days as Agatha strengthened in the eastern Atlantic. And now that it's gone through land and it's held together moderately well, I would say. Now we have to really look at the possibility of this becoming Tropical Storm Alex, which is the first Atlantic name on the list. And then when we look at the 5-day forecast, we'll get a really good look at the percentage now, which is absolutely insane. We have now gone up to a 70% chance now, actually. Excuse me. I thought I saw 90 earlier. I guess I was tripping. But formation through 5 days, 70% now. Earlier this week we were looking at 20, and this thing has only trended upward. And notice here, this is showing southern Florida. You guys might want to watch this. Do I think this will become anything close to a hurricane? Not really. I'm not very convinced at all. Waters are warm though. Shear is minimal, so anything can happen. But more than anything, I would just really be prepared for a lot of heavy rain and just downright dreary, ugly conditions in the next few days, especially around southern Florida and the Keys, Miami, Orlando. Just keep an eye out on this one. Let's go over to the Eastern Pacific and see what's left of Agatha looks like right now. And it looks like Agatha is completely dissipated over land from the looks of it, and there are just remnants of it. This last advisory was probably issued earlier in the day while I was at work. So let's see what the Euro has to say about it. Now this is a 12Z Euro, and this version of the Euro only updates every 12 hours, so this is relatively up to date, but things could change really quickly here. This is the storm over southern Mexico right now. Uh-oh, and I'm in the single image mode. Let's go to loop. Try to make this easier. So let's move this forward. This isn't the most impressive storm, but it does work its way onto the western coast of Florida by the weekend. Looks like it gets a little bit of its strength back. Definitely nothing compared to what it was when it made landfall. But this does look like it goes directly through Florida. And then here's an interesting, and then we're going to look at the GFS again, this time just looking solely at the Gulf. And here's what I want to emphasize really clearly. Alright, so here we are right now. This is the GFS. If this thing will load. The GFS has been causing me a lot of problems. Maybe because of its interval time. The GFS looks like it tries to strengthen this thing a little bit more than the Euro. I just don't see it really doing anything crazy. But this is also a really weird look because it has it going over Cuba. And then it has it going off towards to the east and maybe towards the Bahamas. That's a little bit weird, I'm not gonna lie. Alright, so nothing's really going on after that happens. But I remember seeing a really weird look towards the end of this run. I see another storm that pops up around the eastern Pacific, and it works its way onshore just like Agatha did. And then lo and behold, this kind of straddles the East Mexico coast here and was kind of flirting with southern Texas. I'll have to watch that real close. It is that time of year though now. Hurricane season technically starts tomorrow, so this is right on schedule. So, and also another thing to mention is the main place that we look at when it comes to tropical development early in hurricane season, it's always close to home. It's always around the Gulf. It's always around the Caribbean, or right on the doorstep of the Atlantic coast. But this is all I got for you guys tonight. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, drop a like, leave a comment, or just even stop by to say hi. But anyway, this is Tire Metalhead Weatherman. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.